Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about a combination I don't think you have ever thought about. Stronghold Crusader and Fog of War. Would it be possible to add this feature to our game? In today's video we are going to answer two questions. Would this change make our game competitive? Or would it just be a terrible game design? To answer those, let's analyze the changes piece by piece. The first and biggest change with Fog of War is information. Right now we can see everything, but with fog you won't see what your enemy is doing. This is a huge game changer, especially in high-speed multiplayer games, because you will never know when you are about to get hit by a massive army or even just a small group of slaves targeting your economy. You won't have the luxury to counter your enemy's units perfectly because you just won't see them coming. To fix this and to avoid instant deaths in multiplayer, I think a 5-minute peace time would be mandatory. Without it, the game would just be pure chaos. Secondly, building your castle becomes much trickier. In most RTS games, you can't place buildings in the dark. This is a massive problem for resources, because stone, iron, pitch and farmlands are usually far away from the keep. If you can't see the land, you can't build there. This would definitely slow down the early game economy, because you would actually have to send units to discover the stone deposits before you can place a quarry. But there is a cool side effect. Your workers become accidental scouts. You might see an enemy attack just because your woodcutter walked into them. Now, let's talk about units. Who wins and who loses with Fog of War? Well, of course, faster units get a huge buff. If you can move fast, you can surprise the enemy and do massive damage before they can even react. The winners are the following. Slaves. They become even better at harassing. You would be forced to build towers or place defensive units next to your farms just to be safe. As for the knights, they can now finally be used properly for flanking, which plays a major factor for countering horse archers with shields or simply catapults. This will definitely buff the knights. Sappers. These guys will absolutely become scary. If you don't see them coming, they can two-shot your walls before you even target them. Skirmishers and horse archers. Their kiting potential goes through the roof with this game change, in my opinion. And what about the assassins? Honestly, I don't think Fog of War changes much for them, and you might wonder why. Well, because they already apply huge map pressure. You are always scared of them coming to your walls, climbing them, even without the Fog of War. So the threat remains the same. The only difference is that with Fog of War, players might be so paranoid that they turtle up inside their base. So, ironically, the fog might actually make it harder for the assassins, simply because everyone will be building massive defenses out of fear. If we ever add Fog of War to the game, we need a more efficient way to explore the map by not relying on the expensive unit, which is the Knights. And I have an idea for that, which is a new unit called the Scout. For the European Lords, they can get the Scout, and the Arabian Lords, they will get the Bedouin Tracker. And here is how it works. Every player starts the game with one scout for free. You can recruit more at the keep, but there is a catch. The price scales. The second scout costs 200 gold and the third one costs 500 gold, with a limit of 3 scouts per player. Stat-wise, they should be fast, but not as fast as a knight, and they cannot attack. Their only job is to gather info. We could even add a scout tower building. It would have a huge vision radius compared to normal towers, and maybe it reveals even more of the map if you place a scout inside of it. So, now that we have looked at the main changes, we have to ask ourselves, is Fog of War actually made for this game? In other RTS games like Age of Empires or Warcraft 3, you really need to scout, because resources are finite. But in Stronghold Crusader, with infinite resources, there is no real need for that. Also, for Fog of War, we would need a random map generator, because let's be honest guys, We have been playing this game for like 20 years, to the point where we have memorized the exact location of every single resource on the map. To conclude this video, people, Fog of War would definitely make the game more challenging, but it would require Firefly to make a lot of changes. Would the game become competitive like other RTS games? Well, with the right changes, yes. But at the end of the day, we have to remind ourselves why this game became so popular. Its charm. It gives us the opportunity to build castles exactly how we want. Not to mention the iconic characters. Some of them are so funny and iconic that they left us with great memories from playing this game as kids. Fog of War could be added as an option to turn on whenever we want, but honestly, Stronghold Crusader was never about sweating over map control. It has always been about that cozy feeling of hearing
Wood needed.